Good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, May the 8th, 2020. It is currently 2:26 p.m. Central Time. May the 8th. It doesn't roll off the tongue, does it? It just sounds weird. May the 8th. That's why I like being live. I know that it's going to sound like that I have a mental problem, but if I was recording this podcast and I would have done that introduction, welcome everyone. It is, good afternoon, everyone. It is Friday, May the 8th. As soon as I said that, I would have stopped and said, nope, delete it, start it over. And I probably would have tried like 15 times and not liked the way I said it one time. But you know what? When you're live, you can't do that. So you just have to press on. So If it didn't sound right, I apologize. See, you can get into your own mind and then start questioning everything that you're saying. And that's never a fun place to be as a podcaster, a YouTuber, or anyone else who speaks. All you can do is press forward. That's all you can do. So let's press forward. Welcome, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you may be, however you may be listening. We greatly appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, out of the things, maybe other things that you would prefer to do, but you take some time to listen to me, even if you don't want to. Okay. Yeah, probably some people don't want to, but for some reason they still listen to me. But I still appreciate those people as well. But thank you for listening. And in this episode of the Theology Central podcast, we've got a lot of things to discuss. I'm going to give you kind of an update of what we're going to be focusing on soon here on the Theology Central podcast. I'm always coming up with different ideas, different things to try to do. We were working a long time kind of on a catechesis during the pandemic. I don't know how well received that was. I didn't receive a lot of feedback, but I think it was at least I was trying to make a point, trying to tell, hey, the church, we need to really use this for spiritual good, looking at how it's really divine, how it's really kind of broken down into everyone, Christians arguing and conspiracy theories and, how serious is this? It's not serious. You shouldn't wear a mask. You should wear a mask. Don't listen. If you canceled church services, then you should apologize. All the different things happening within the Christian world. Clearly, my message wasn't heeded. Okay. Hey, everyone, let's not get caught up in that noise. Let's focus on spiritual things. And so I tried to do a time of catechesis. I think we covered a lot of interesting things, and hopefully people benefited from it. I think at this point, places are starting to reopen. I think now people are kind of moving on past, quote unquote, being, quarantined, isolating. I think people are kind of looking differently. So I think we'll move on to different things, and we'll kind of say, we did the time of catechesis during a pandemic, and we came to a decent conclusion, not a great conclusion, but a decent one. And hopefully people benefited from that. But since we've kind of finished that, we're going to turn our attention to something else. And I will be mentioning that here in just a minute. Now, a couple of things here. If you do not know, I know some of you listen to us on SoundCloud. Some of you listen to us on iHeartRadio. All the different places people listen, it's always crazy, all the different places. Thank you, but let me just inform you just quickly, because this is to kind of give you an update, let you kind of understand everything and kind of tell you what we're going to be doing. And then we got a giveaway to talk about, so we'll be talking about that all. So here we go. Let's just kind of get some things out of the way here. If you're not aware, the Theology Central podcast is kind of one podcast and a family of podcasts. All of these podcasts are hosted by me, all right? You have the VBC podcast. That's V as for victory, B for Baptist, C for church. VBC, the VBC podcast. That is all the sermons and Sunday school lessons preached and taught here at Victory Baptist Church. All right. Now, sometimes I may preach or do a message that doesn't show up there, but that's typically where you're going to get everything. What I'm trying to do, if I do preach a sermon that I want posted somewhere else, and I may go live under the other podcast, the sermon will still ultimately end up on the VBC podcast, because that's what that podcast is designed for. That's what it's focused on. It's focused on the preaching and teaching of the church. So if you want that, it's available. Please subscribe. Please leave a 5-star rating, leave a review. That's where you can hear the sermons and Sunday school lessons if you want them. So please, 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 please subscribe to that. Also, if you want to search our sermons, a very easy way to search our sermons is to go to sermons.vbc66.org. 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 Let me give that to you again. Sermons.vbc, which obviously stands for Victory Baptist Church, the number 66.org. Sermons.vbc66.org. There is our VBC pod page. There you can see all of them. In fact, if you go here to the drop-down menu, hit episodes, guess what shows up? It shows up at the very top, a search bar. And then you can start searching to your heart's content, hopefully find what you're looking for, and another way to keep up with everything. There's also a blog there that I will probably be posting more things in the future. There will be other sermons and other things that I think are interesting that will get posted there as well. So subscribe to the VBC podcast. Please do. And it's available on all podcast apps. It's everywhere. And check out the pod page. Okay, again, sermons.vbc66.org. And then you can, search and everything you want. That's a great way to get our content as far as our sermons are concerned. So please do that. Now, if also for the VBC podcast, if you would like to listen to us live, because whenever we're having church, Sunday school, Sunday morning, Sunday night, and Wednesday, we're always live on the air. You can always listen to us live if you so desire by downloading the Spreaker app. Spreaker is Spreaker, Spreaker, not speaker, Spreaker, Spreaker. Download the Spreaker app. I think it says like Spreaker Podcast Radio. In fact, let me just do this. Let me look in the App Store while I'm live on the air, because this whole episode just is about giving you some very important information. All right, let's go to Spreaker. Spreaker, is it showing up yet? Here we go. There we go, Spreaker. You have to type it all the way out. And you will see, yes, this is what you'll see. I'm looking in the Apple Podcast Store, or the Apple App Store, I should say, the Apple App Store, and this is what I see. I see Podcast Studio. All right, that's for me. That's for people who broadcast. And then right underneath it, I see Spreaker Podcast Player. Spreaker Podcast Player. All right, and they updated this 1 week ago, and there you go. You can download it. Once you download Spreaker Podcast Radio and you open it up, do a search for VBC. That's us, Victory Baptist Church. Hit that, and then it'll take you to a page that says VBC by Victory Baptist Church. Tap on the words by Victory Baptist Church. That will show you all of our podcasts. And then guess what? Go under each one, hit the star, make us a favorite. Make sure you hit the big yellow follow us button. Please do that. And then guess what? You can listen to us live whenever we're live on the air, and we're live on the air a lot. So it's not like it's a one-time kind of a unique feature that may get used once a month. We're live on the air for all church services. There's 4 hours a week. And then I'm doing pretty much, 3-4 hours of broadcasting every Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. All right. So you're talking multiple, 4 hours a day almost every day. I usually take Monday and Thursdays off. So, I think that's a lot of content. And so I think it makes it worthwhile if you want to listen to us live, So please consider that. Get the Spreaker app, subscribe to the VBC podcast, and then you can get all of our sermons. And then by downloading the Spreaker app, you can listen to us live if you want to listen to our sermons and Sunday school classes, Sunday school lessons. All right. So if you want to do that, great. Now, also, let me go back. I'm going to open up the Spreaker app. If you open up the Spreaker app, where is it? Here it is. Here is the Spreaker app. If I open to the Spreaker app, and I go under VBC. There it is, by Victory Baptist Church. I tap on by Victory Baptist Church. You'll see all of our podcasts. The Non-Catholic Catholic, that's all things related to Catholicism. Theological Musings. The Theological Musings podcast is kind of a catch-all. No matter where I do a podcast, no matter which podcast I record or go live under, that program will end up under the Theological Musings heading. It's a catch-all podcast. Everything goes there. Theology Central goes there. The Non-Catholic Catholic goes there. VBC goes there. The VBC Bible Institute. Everything goes under Theological Musings. So if you want to kind of have a catch-all where you can find everything, then make sure you subscribe to the Theological Musings podcast. The Theological Musings podcast is also available on all podcast apps. So look for Theological Musings. Now, when you speak of Theological Musings, you may want to do this. Where is our SoundCloud page? Here is our SoundCloud page. If you go, let's see, I'm going to go to our profile. If you go to soundcloud.com, soundcloud.com/VBC66, soundcloud.com/VBC66. Let me say that again, soundcloud.com/VBC66. I don't have the SoundCloud app on my device, but if you download the SoundCloud app, you can subscribe to the SoundCloud podcast to the Theological Musings podcast via the SoundCloud app, or you can go view it on the SoundCloud website, or you can just go to that link directly. Let me find it again. Where did it just go? SoundCloud.com/VBC66. So on SoundCloud, the Theological Musings podcast is there. Now, why do I tell you that? Because the Theological Musings podcast via SoundCloud, whether the app or the website, the web address I just gave you, you can have access to 1,119 episodes. That's a lot of episodes. 1,119 episodes. That's pretty much where everything has been for the last 5 years. That's one of the reasons we don't want to get rid of the SoundCloud page. It has everything. So please consider that as well if you would like to catch up if you're looking for things that you're missing, okay? So let me go through this again. We have the VBC podcast. That's sermons, Sunday school lessons. Boom. All right. You can listen to the VBC podcast, subscribe to it everywhere. And I mean everywhere. Wherever podcasts are, you can find it. All right. That's the VBC. However, if you want to listen to the VBC podcast live, and just make sure you know the VBC podcast is dedicated to sermons and Sunday school lessons from Victory Baptist Church. But if you want to listen to those sermons and Sunday school lessons being taught live, you need to get the Spreaker app. The Spreaker app. Look for Spreaker Podcast Player in your app store of choice. And once you get there, look for VBC, subscribe to the VBC podcast, and listen to me carefully. That will allow you to listen to us live whenever we're live on the air under the VBC podcast heading, all right? There's lots of different podcasts. That's why I'm explaining all of this, okay? And so just make sure you understand that and subscribe to it. And I think that will be great. Now, please note the another podcast, right? So then if you download the Spreaker app and you go under VBC and you go to the page Victory Baptist Church, you're going to see all of our podcasts. And one of our other podcasts is the Theological Musings podcast. The Theological Musings podcast is a catch-all for everything. Theological Musings podcast is also available via SoundCloud. SoundCloud has everything that we've done in the last 5 years. So if you're looking for something old, you can find it there. And again, how do you find it? If you go to the website, soundcloud.com/VBC66. soundcloud.com/VBC66. Again, I'm assuming it's available on the SoundCloud app. Obviously, I'm assuming I don't have it available. I don't have the app right now so that I can look. We do a lot of we do some pretty good numbers. We've got over 36,000 streams and listens for us on SoundCloud alone, over 36,000. So we're making some progress. I mean, SoundCloud has just kind of been there, and there you go. Just make good use of it if you're looking for that. Okay. Now, there's another thing. If you go to, let me see here. Give me a second. If you go to YouTube, I know we're in so many places. If you go to YouTube, where's my channel? All right. If you go to YouTube, let me see, what is the actual address for our channel? Give me a second here. I don't want that. Give me a second. I don't think we have let's do this. If you go to YouTube, and you type in VBC, see what happens. No, you're not going to find us that way. Huh. Interesting. Maybe that's why some people have trouble finding us. We may have to find a way to change this. Wow, if you type in Victory Baptist Church, there is a lot of them, so that's not going to be too helpful. Interesting. I don't know the actual address for our YouTube page. So that's interesting. We do have a YouTube page. It's just kind of there by default. We've not ever done much with it. And I don't really know how to tell you to get to our page. So this, I'm kind of interested in now how to fix this. Let's see. No, that doesn't. That address is not easy to find. All right, so I will work on that. We do have a YouTube page. I don't know how you find us on YouTube. That is interesting. In fact, hang on. I may have a way. Give me a second. Go to Spreaker. I know this is all like live on the air, but this is kind of interesting. I'm a little bit confused now. We'll go here. I'm going to go to our profile. Public profile. And no, that's not helpful. No, I can't really tell you. Website, iTunes. Yeah, they don't have a direct link to YouTube here. So I don't really know what our YouTube address is, but we are available on YouTube. If you, I know I think we got 31 subscribers on YouTube. Maybe that's why the number's not very high. I don't even know how you find us on YouTube. That's interesting. I'm by no means a YouTube expert, and you're clearly hearing that live on the air. You really are. But this is good information to have. So I will say this. If you subscribe to us on YouTube, what's the YouTube address? I know some people who are very knowledgeable about YouTube. I'll have to figure that out, and I will give you that announcement the next time I do a Theology Central episode. I will tell you how to find our page. But the YouTube page, the reason I was telling you about the YouTube page is the YouTube page is basically a catch-all as well. No matter what I'm doing, if I'm broadcasting under the Non-Catholic Catholic podcast, the VBC podcast, the VBC Bible Institute podcast, Theology Central, it will show up on the YouTube page. Now, it's not video, it's just audio, but that is available to you as well. We just need to find an easy way to get people to there. So there's got to be a way to optimize a name so that people can find us. That seems weird. Like if you look at the address when you type on when you get the URL, it's some weird convoluted thing that wouldn't be easy to even tell people how to get there. So I'll figure that out, but please know it is available. So let me go through everything again. VBC podcast, sermons, Sunday school lessons. Boom. Subscribe to it. It's available everywhere. However, if you want to hear us live, listen to me. You need the Spreaker app. And then once you download the Spreaker app, do a search for VBC, find us, Victory Baptist Church, kind of a grayish background with a green cross, says Victory Baptist Church or VBC. Choose us, subscribe, hit the little yellow button. That's making us a favorite, which is kind of subscribing to us. And then you can hit the big yellow follow us button. You'll have to sign up so that you can follow us. And then you can go to the page VBC by Victory Baptist Church, tap on the words by Victory Baptist Church. That will bring up all the other podcasts. One of the other podcasts you will see is Theological Musings. The reason I tell you about that is that's the catch-all podcast. Everything goes there, all right? So you won't miss anything if you are subscribed to that as well. The Theological Musings podcast is also available on SoundCloud. The reason that's important for you to know about SoundCloud is because, why? It's the catch-all for everything we've done in like 6 years. So you definitely want to find that. Again, that web address is soundcloud.com/VBC66. That's pretty straightforward. That's pretty easy. Also, for the VBC podcast, if you want to be able to search and keep up with everything for the VBC podcast alone, go to sermons.vbc66.org, sermons.vbc66.org, and guess what? You'll get our pod page, and you can get all of our information there, all right? So I know this is a lot of information, but I get so many emails with people confused, so I'm trying my best to clarify everything today, all right? I know we had a little confusing because the YouTube page, don't really know what to tell you about the YouTube page. It exists. I don't know how you find it, but it exists, okay? I don't know how you search for it, but it's there, right? So if you can find it, you get, I don't know, you find it and subscribe to it, okay? There you go. Especially if you use YouTube on a regular basis. Like if you're on YouTube a lot, subscribe. I mean, I'm assuming it doesn't hurt anything to subscribe. And then what will happen is if you're on YouTube and you're doing, you're doing other things, and then whenever a program I complete gets uploaded to YouTube, which they do automatically, then you won't miss it because you'll say, oh, it's right there. So again, you won't be able to listen to me live via YouTube. You'll have to listen to me live via Spreaker, but it's just another way where you don't miss any of the content since we produce a lot of content, right? So people are always like, hey, wait, when did you cover that? I didn't know you covered that. And I'm like, I covered that 6 weeks ago. Hello, where were you? Okay. But then I'm like, well, I also posted like 75 hours of content in 3 days. So, So I'm trying to help you out. All right. So there you have it. Now, the other podcast, the Non-Catholic Catholic podcast, again, it's available, all podcast platforms. It deals with things from dealing with Catholicism. So you can listen to that, but obviously from a non-Catholic perspective. Keep that in mind, all right? Sometimes people get offended, all right? Next, the Theology Central podcast. You're listening to it right now, live. And if you're not listening to us live, if you want to listen to us live, again, get the Spreaker app, Theology Central. Theology Central podcast is available everywhere. And oh, by the way, there's a pod page, theologycentral.net, theologycentral.net, theologycentral.net. You can search all past episodes, and we have a blog there where I'm always posting information that I'm talking about on the program. All right, got all of that? All right, wow. That took a whole lot longer than I wanted. That's okay. That YouTube thing is kind of interesting. No wonder people can't find it. I don't even know how to find it. I can't even find it. The only reason I know it's there is because it's marked, and so when I open YouTube, it's my channel. So I just tap on the little My Channel button and it opens it up. But when I did a search for it, I couldn't find us. So I don't know how you even find us on YouTube. So that's something we definitely need to look into. So thank you for listening to me because you helped me discover something. Now, I say all of that because coming up soon. All right. So there's all that kind of information. Please subscribe. Please find us. And email me. newsif@yahoo.com. 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 How do you listen? How did you find us? That's $1 million question. How did you find us? I've had people email me. I listened to you on this app. Okay. Well, that's, and I'm like, wait, people are listening to us on that app? Didn't even know that app existed. But how did you discover us? That's always, I don't know how people are finding us. And figuring out how people find you is very critical to then, jumping on that and using that to our advantage, right? So hopefully all that makes sense. Now, do you hear that? That's a book. We're going to be giving our books away. But before we do that, I'm going to be telling you what's coming up soon. I don't know when, a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, no later than the beginning of June, we are going to spend a considerable amount of time talking about, studying, discussing, reading from a very important book in church history. It is called now, depending on your version, the version I have, which I purchased, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. This thing is like, I have to be careful with it. I know I'm being like that, but literally pages are going to fall out of it. It's very old, but it's called Of the Imitation of Christ, or some versions just have The Imitation of Christ. Mine says Of the Imitation of Christ, Of the Imitation of Christ, or The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis. Thomas A. Kempis is how I used to say it. Thomas A. Kempis, Thomas A. Kempis, Thomas, Thomas, Kempis, Kempis. Thomas A. Kempis of The Imitation of Christ. And on my cover, underneath his name, it says, Becoming More Like the Master. Becoming More Like the Master. Now, what we're going to be doing is I'm going to be giving away copies of this book. Now, there's going to be this is not going to be a typical giveaway. And I apologize for making this a little bit more difficult. And I know that this may limit some of you not being able to participate in this giveaway. We'll find a way to be able to give it to other people as well. We're limited in how many we can give away as well. So just keep that in mind. If you contact me and I'm like, I'm sorry that we ran out, don't get mad. Okay. We're not rich. Okay. By no means. We're a little small church in the middle of nowhere, but we like to give things away when I feel that we can. And I think this will be for a good thing. So let me give you some information about the book, and then I'll tell you what to need to do, and I'll tell you what we're going to be doing and everything like that, okay? So let me find it here. Here we go. The Imitation of Christ. Here's some basic information. The Imitation of Christ by Thomas A. Kempis is a Christian devotional book. It was first composed in Latin, and they have here 1418 through 1427. So somewhere between, maybe during that entire time, 1418 to 1427. It is a handbook for spiritual for spiritual life. It's a handbook for spiritual life. The Imitation is perhaps now listen to this. The Imitation of Christ is perhaps the most widely read devotional work next to the Bible and is regarded as a devotional and religious classic. Its popularity was immediate, and it was printed 745 times before 1650. Apart from the Bible, no book has been translated into more languages than The Imitation of Christ. The text is divided into 4 books, which provide detailed spiritual instructions, helpful counsels of the spiritual life, directives of the interior life, on interior consolation, and on the Blessed Sacrament. The approach taken in the Imitation is characterized by its emphasis on the interior life and withdrawal from the world, as opposed to an active imitation of Christ by other individuals. The book places a high level of emphasis on the devotion to the Eucharist as key element of spiritual life. Now, I know what you're thinking if you're hearing this. You're like, wait a minute, that sounds very Catholic. Ding, 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 ding. You are right. It is, which is fascinating to me because I first learned about the book in an independent fundamental Baptist church who condemned everything Catholic. So I don't know how in the world this book even got a foothold there, but because it's a classic, because it's been translated in more languages than any other book other than the Bible, because it's been read and promoted and taught throughout all kinds of, all traditions of Christendom, then I thought, why not work on it? Why not read it? Why not think about it? No, that doesn't mean I'm going to read it and say, hey, I agree with everything in it, because obviously not. I'm not a Catholic. But we're definitely going to work on it for, I don't know how long. I don't know how much we'll make it through, but we'll see what kind of interesting things. And the reason I decided to do this is just I was looking through some books, and I'm like, oh, there's the Imitation of Christ. I read that. I've got notebooks with all kinds of notes on it. You know what? Let's pull it out and let's go through it again. And this time we'll get people involved. So we want you to be involved in it. Now, listen, this is a classic book. It's everywhere. So us giving away a copy is not because we're trying to give you, this is not a situation where I have the ability to give you something away that's really big, like a big systematic theology or a survey of the Bible or a set of books that maybe you may deem being more important or of greater value to you. This giveaway is more designed as, hey, can you help us out? And if you help us out, then we'll send you a book. That's kind of that. And when we say help us out, I don't want your money. So it's not one of those situations. Send us some money and we'll send you a book. No. I please do not interpret it that way. I do not want your money. What I would like is this, very simple, very straightforward. If you will go to Apple Podcast. Now, I know that limits that makes the Android followers not happy. Okay, Android users not happy. I understand, but we'll start with the Apple users. If you can go to the Apple Podcast app, leave a 5-star rating and a very short review about something you like about the program, okay, and you'll post that and then send me an email saying, I submitted a review. Here's my name. Here's what the review will say. I can look at, verify that you posted the review. Then give me your first and last name and your address. And then I'll send you a paperback copy of the Imitation of Christ. All right. And then you can use it to follow along when we're covering it. All right. So I'm giving you away something that we'll be utilizing here. So that's pretty straightforward. And if you can leave one for all the podcasts, the Non-Catholic Catholic, the VBC Bible Institute, we didn't even talk about that podcast, the VBC Bible Institute podcast, the Theology Central, and the VBC. If you can leave, a 5-star, a little review for each one, that's what gets the podcast noticed. It's that simple. It's what gives the podcast. That's how the podcast is discovered. Okay. I used to be kind of a medium fish and kind of a small pond. I used to be on another site that was kind of dedicated to just sermons. And I was kind of a middle-sized fish, maybe a little smaller than middle-sized, and a small pond. So I could at times feel a little bit more important, but I wasn't in a big ocean, okay? But when you go podcasting everywhere, now I'm an insignificant grain of sand on the beach of an ocean of podcast. And unless people leave reviews and ratings, then you stay in obscurity. It's that simple. So even though we've got probably a lot more numbers than some people do, we still want to, we're doing a lot of work. So keep that in mind. All right. So go there, leave a review, email me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com, left a review. Boom. Here's what I said, and here's my name and address, and then that's it. Well, I'll just then order a copy and have it sent directly to you. It will be coming to you from Amazon, okay? That's the easiest way to accomplish that task, okay? So that's the key, and if you want to participate, please do that. Another thing you can do, if you can download the Spreaker app. Download the Spreaker app, Spreaker. Download the Spreaker app and follow us. Just send me an email saying, I just downloaded the Spreaker app. I'm following you. I will get a message saying that your name is following me. You can tell me whatever name you used. And okay, and I can verify that you're now following us. And then, boom, I'll do the same for there. That'll allow Android users to participate, all right? So a rating, a ranking, a rating and a review for Apple Podcast, or a new follower on Spreaker. Now, I know some of you have been listening, have been following, and writing reviews for a long time. Thank you. If you want a copy of the book and you've already left a review or a rating, let me know, and I'll be more happy to send you one just because you've been a long-term listener. I think right now, if I go under, let me look here really quick. If I go under Apple Podcast, Apple Podcasts. Give me a second. Let's go to shows. I'm going to go to each one here, okay? Let's look here. I'm going. All right, there's the non-Catholic Catholic podcast. Okay, the non-Catholic Catholic podcast doesn't, it has one rating, no reviews. So one rating, no reviews. All right. And I'll just show you in contrast. Okay. So there's me with the non-Catholic Catholic one, right? Trying to do, something somewhat interesting. One review. If I go under Joel Osteen, 15,000 rankings, 15,000 ratings. He's at 4.5, 15,000. And I don't even know how many reviews. So I've got, when I said one, I got one rating. I got no reviews under the non-Catholic Catholic. One rating, no reviews. Joel Osteen has 15,000. All right. So I'm nowhere within the ball. You guess which podcast people are going to find? They're going to find Joel Osteen. People get upset. I don't know why Joel Osteen is so popular. Well, he's so popular when people are looking for a Christian podcast. Guess who they're going to find? They're going to find Joel Osteen. Why? 15,000 ratings. How he's going to find it? So that's the way it works. Okay, so there's the non-Catholic Catholic. If I go into the VBC Bible Institute podcast, one rating, no reviews. One rating, no reviews. That's the VBC Bible Institute podcast, okay? The VBC Bible Institute podcast. You really should subscribe to that. We're trying to do a lot of good things there, so you really should subscribe to that. But again, now it's a 5-star rating, so that's wonderful, but there's only one, okay? If I go to Theological Musings, and I go all the way down here to the bottom. Give me a second. Wow, there's a lot of episodes there. Okay, I don't even think there's a rating for this one. Wow, let me look here. I'm going all the way down. Yeah, this one is not even, I guess there's been no ratings for the Theological Musings. I guess there's been none. All right, let me look here. Do a search. Theological Musings. Give me 1 second. If I can spell right. Theological Musings. Oh, wow. It doesn't even show up in the search. Wow. So this one, Theological Musings, is not in a good... Yeah, this is a little disappointing. We can't even be found. This is how hard it is sometimes to try to get noticed. We are absolutely buried. Yeah, I don't even know. That is weird. So I don't even know if we're listed in the Theological Musing ones. You may not even be able to find. So that one is very disappointing. Okay, I'll have to do some work on that one. Again, I'm discovering all kinds of things. I don't want to play my podcast. Okay, here we go. Let's go back to library. All right. There's Theology Central. Okay, good. Theology Central podcast. We are down here. Okay, now Theology Central podcast. Now we're doing a little better here. We have 3 ratings. Woohoo! I've got 2 reviews. Will and Twyla. 2 reviews. 3 ratings. So we're doing better with the Theology Central. So there you have it. So what I'm trying to say is if you go under all of our podcasts, one, they may be even hard to find, but we need the ratings to be able to get them discovered. I'll have to work on Theological Musings because something is weird going. You can't even find that. So I don't know. We've been completely buried there. That's disappointing. So we'll have to find a way to find it there. Now, if you are using a podcast app of any kind, Android users, anybody, and it can allow you to leave a rating and a review, and you can show me a screenshot going, hey, there, I left that rating, I left that review, and then I can go there and verify, then send me your name and your address, and I will send you a copy of the Imitation of Christ. So I think it's pretty straightforward, right? You want a copy of the book. I know this book is available. It's probably available for free online. I understand that. And if you don't want to participate, that's okay. All I'm trying to say, if you can help us out by leaving a rating, leaving a review on Apple Podcast, that's easy if for Apple users, then do so. If you have the Spreaker app and you hit the follow button and you're a new follower, please, that gets that follow number up. The more followers, the more chance that our podcast will be noticed. That's just the way it works. It's numbers is how it works. If you don't have numbers, you're insignificant. Numbers, you become significant. It doesn't matter if your content is significant or insignificant. It's just based off numbers. That's the way it works. So if you can do that, we get that follow number up on Spreaker. That would be great. We get those ratings and reviews up on Apple. That would be great. And if there's any other place where you can leave a rating, a ranking, a review, that would be wonderful. And I mean, look, if you already dislike us and hate us, please just email me your hatred. You don't post a negative one. That doesn't help. I mean, you can just tell me that you think I'm a loser or something. Okay. So if you could do that, that would be great. That would be greatly beneficial to us and greatly helpful. All right. So we're going to be dealing with the Imitation of Christ by Thomas à Kempis. I'll do kind of a little brief history of him. I'll do a brief history of the book. Do some basic information like that, and then we'll get started, and that'll all start within the next couple of weeks. Remember, we're doing a survey we're basically going through the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation, and you can listen to that journey through the Bible under the VBC Bible Institute podcast, and we also are doing a mini-series on how to study the Bible on the VBC Bible Institute podcast. All of that is available as well. So many different things, so much content. So hours and hours of work going into it. Anything you can do to help would be greatly appreciated. Again, long-term listeners, if you're already a follower on Spreaker, if you've already left a review and you want the book, just email me the name and address, and I'll try to get you one. Again, we can only go until we run, until I'm like, okay, we can't spend any more money. So I doubt the numbers are going to be that big. It'll probably be just a few people, and a few people. Hey, you're helping me out. Hopefully the book will benefit you, and then you can use it while we're studying it together. So that's my idea. There you have it. We learned some things. Nobody knows how to find our YouTube page. That's disappointing. It appears you can't find Theological Musings podcast under Apple. That's disappointing. So that's all interesting. I don't have the SoundCloud app. In fact, let's do this live on the air. Let's do this really quick. See how easy we're able to be found on the SoundCloud app. I'm going to go to the App Store, SoundCloud. Here we go. I know SoundCloud is more famous for rappers than Bible teachers, but I've never understood. To be honest, I have never understood why we have had the success we've had on SoundCloud. It makes no sense. I mean, SoundCloud is known in popular culture for the rise of the SoundCloud rappers who got famous on SoundCloud. Why are we even have a presence there? It doesn't make any sense to me. But okay, all right. I'm going to open up SoundCloud. I just downloaded the app. All right. Yes, you can send me notifications. All right. Let's do a search. All right, no, I don't want that. All right, here we go. Theological Musings. Wow. There we are. We showed up fast. Wow. We have 118 followers on SoundCloud. Insane. Okay. Wow. We've got some episodes that have been listened to over 1,000 times. I think I know. Interesting. I've learned some things here. If I do an episode that's very much, this is interesting. If I do an episode that's very much popular culture focused, for example, I did one on Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, over 1,000. I did one on a Demi Lovato song, I think I Love Me. Lots of Sinning With You, a song by Sam Hunt. I did a discussion about that. Lots of numbers. And then if you just get down to your sermons and Bible studies, the numbers drop. They drop a lot. I mean, still a considerable amount of numbers, but those are all of our top tracks. So that's interesting. And then there's my latest track. Well, see, okay, I just posted literally. I did an episode called The Price of Freedom just a little while ago, and we already have, it looks like 3 listens already on SoundCloud. I think we already have more listens on SoundCloud than we do on Spreaker. So that's weird. Huh. Yeah, the SoundCloud app is kind of interesting. Wow. There we go. Learn something new every day. So you may want to download the SoundCloud app. Please note the SoundCloud app. Look, just do a search for Theological Musings. We pop right up. I don't know why we don't show up on Apple, but we show up on SoundCloud. I mean, like quickly. I didn't even finish typing in Theological Musings, and we showed up. Probably because there's not a lot of theology on SoundCloud. But just remember, that's a catch-all. That gets everything. Now you can't listen to us live on that. But that's an interesting development. And also, I've kind of figured out if I want content to make an impact on SoundCloud, I know what to do. Do something related to popular culture, and then you'll get the listens. That's interesting. So there you have it. There's all of our content all over the place. I know that was all kind of thrown together, but I just wanted to kind of give everyone an update, kind of give everyone what's going on. And where we're going to be focusing on the imitation of Christ on the Theology Central podcast. We'll do it in our style. Our style will be asking questions, not always agreeing, disagreeing, analyzing, thinking. That's what we do on the Theology Central podcast. So what do you need to do to win a book? Very simple. Either become a new follower on the Spreaker app. Okay, and I'll have to get the notification that you are a new follower. Usually it takes a little while. I think the number goes up immediately, and I can go look. I just won't get the notification usually for 24 hours, but you can email me. Or go to Apple Podcast, a rating and a review. Okay, rating and a review. Now, sometimes that has to go through an approval process. I think Apple approves that. I don't approve that. So that may take a little while to show up. But then immediately email me at newsif@yahoo.com. News, the word news, NEWS, the letters IF, newsif@yahoo.com. Say, hey, I just posted a rating and a review. It should be there shortly. Here's my name. Here's my address. Would love the book. Boom. That's it. I don't want anything else from you. Not asking anything else from you. Again, if you're using some other app, and you can leave a rating or a review, show me, and I'll be like, yes, fine. If you already are a follower on Spreaker, just let me know. We'll work something out for you as well. Again, a limited amount of books I can send, limited amount. So let me know, and I'll try to do. So put it this way: I'll have to cut off the giveaway probably relatively quick. So post quickly if you want a copy of the book, and hopefully you're willing to do it even if you don't get a book, but whatever we can do. So I'll stop right there. I know this kind of wasted an episode. I could have probably done something else, but I at least wanted to get this out there and just kind of tell you, hey, here's the VBC podcast. So let's go through all of them again. The VBC podcast, sermons, boom. Sunday school lessons, sermons.vbc66.org is the pod page. There you go. If you want to listen to us live, Spreaker, VBC. There you go. The non-Catholic, Catholic, all things Catholic related. There is no pod page. It's just the Non-Catholic Catholic Podcast. You should be able to find it on all podcast platforms, all right? Again, if you want to listen to me when I'm live on that podcast, you need the Spreaker app and you need to subscribe to that podcast specifically, because when I'm live under that podcast, if you're not subscribed to it, you're not going to get a notification, and you have to open up that podcast to hear me live when I'm under that podcast, right? There's the Non-Catholic Catholic. There's VBC, Non-Catholic Catholic, Theological Musings. Theological Musings is the catch-all. It gets everything. If you can subscribe to it via Spreaker, or you can go to SoundCloud, and you can get everything that we've ever done in 6 years there, if you would like that as well. All right. Any information about that, email me. Theology Central Podcast. That's kind of our daily program, our Monday through Saturday kind of program, where I'm always doing live broadcasts and talking about a number of different issues. All right. You can subscribe to that as well. The VBC Bible Institute podcast as well. It's a Bible Institute in a podcast form. If you want to learn, you can be an active student or you can be passive, but you can learn. So subscribe to the VBC Bible Institute. We also have the Socratic Circle podcast, but I haven't done a lot with that, and I'm still trying to figure out how I want to work that, and we'll talk about that sometime in the future. All right, there you go. I think that's everything. If you're confused, email me at newsif@yahoo.com, newsif@yahoo.com. Also, remember, we are available on YouTube. Good luck finding us. The Theological Musings podcast is available on Apple. I just don't know how you find it. That's unfortunate, but it's information that I needed to know. So I kind of did some learning while on the air. All right, I'll stop right there. There, go write the review, go leave the star rating, and we'll work out you getting a book. All right, thank you. Have a great day. God bless.